skip over that on the work session.
I talked over that. It's on.
Close it ahead.
Yeah. Just got off.
Very well.
How are you? Good. You would mind praying with me. Lord, thank you for allowing us to gather here this evening. We ask that you watch over us, protect us. We ask that you watch over our families that we leave at home. We ask that you guide us as we make decisions for the city. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right, we have a lot of items to discuss on the work session. Let's see how far we can run through these items. Just on the work session, is there anything that we need to add or delete? John, let's add that water system distribution in it. Just add it to number 10.
Okay. Right.
And then, do we need to talk about the prison van again?
We tabled it to April.
Okay, we did table it till April, but since they have news of the
Close.
prison, I didn't know if it was needed to put it back on there, because Ryan this week did tell us that he has a new truck coming in about 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And it was one that I guess we had approved.
Gotcha. I'm fine. We add it back on and then Brian will be here tonight.
Yes.
Okay. I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Well, we won't add, we need to have any discussion on it on the work session, or do we just add it to the regular sessions?
Let's add it to the regular session.
Yeah.
We're gonna make a motion when we get in there. So.
Let's see.
We'll take care of that in an hour or so.
Let's put that in under 18 there.
Okay.
Prison van. Anything else that we need to add to this, Mark? See something else?
Just those items that I said, so we'll just keep going.
Okay, very good. All right. So the first topic of discussion is something that we've been waiting on a long time, is the Piedmont College settlement. We have come to an agreement with Piedmont, as I believe that we all have seen, and we will settle that tonight with a vote. And Thomas will advise on what that agreement says and go through that agreement during the regular meeting. Does anybody have any discussion on that? Consideration for the security system and the fire quote. Mark, what you got on that?
Well, how it fell with ACG is out sick today, but he's gonna do it by telephone, so we can hear exactly for the reasonings. And he didn't want to attend with him being sick, so we'll see if this can work. Hey Howard, it's Mark. We've got you on the speakerphone, and you are up to and discuss the security and the fire quote first.
All right, sorry guys, I can't be there. Apparently there's some stuff going around that I don't want to make mention of. Let's see, you want security first or fire one?
Security first.
All right, so the security system is separate from your camera system and your access control. Security system is going to be in every entryway or exitway of the building. Door contacts, motion detectors in the hallways, and it is scheduled to be monitored. The last system that was on there, I think we tried to look up, but again, with the fire alarm system, it hasn't been active probably since was it the 6th grade academy that was there?
It was a sixth grade camera.
Yeah, been like 10 years.
You know, times have changed, there's newer technology, and that includes, that's the cabling, wiring. In addition to the security system is, we've got access control at the corner where City Hall is. They're gonna have to leave that area to go down the long hallway to use the facilities in there next to the main door. So there's two main entrances at the other end of the building. And where the awning is and where the old school office and cafeteria is. So we're gonna cover with this system every main door, put it on monitoring, and that keypad will be available for all three sections of the building. When I say three sections, I'm talking new City Hall, the middle where the auditorium is, and the end where the gymnasium, the cafeteria, and those are. So if those areas become utilized somewhere down the road, a partition system that would be able to be accessed from three different locations to arm and disarm it.
So there'll be a keypad at all of those access points.
Yes, we can partition it, and I'll get into the fire alarm system, but yes, we're able to do that on this system, so, you know, it is one building, it's not separated, there's only, I guess there's the one 911 address that's associated with it, so, and it is monitored, and the monitoring grid is $30 a month. And you decide who is in the cascade calling, emergency calling. We'll set it up to where fire is called, well, police is called, someone there would be called, Mark, Megan, Papa, someone else. However they wanted to set that up, if there was an alarm that went off or a motion that went off after hours, someone would be called along with the appropriate agency from the monitoring system. Now, this system, just like we did with everything else up front at City Hall, this is expandable. We put in the system to be expandable because we know there might be future plans for the senior Demorest with police, fire, whatever down the road. So this isn't just a stopgap, finish right here, start over again. This is all expandable. So with that in mind, we kept that in mind while we were designing these systems.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification on that. Would you tell us about the fire alarm?
The fire alarm system, we looked at it. I had my certified NICEC technician, Andy. We tried to just kind of resurrect the system and see what was, again, this system hasn't been monitored. It hasn't been useful in a long, long time. When we first got to the system, it was showing seven trouble codes, and four of the trouble codes we couldn't reset because they were showing what we consider fatal errors or fatal troubles, which means bad board, bad hardware. It means basically it was being monitored, it would be screaming fire left and right. Since that is a proprietary system, and I think we never doubt you, it was a company that was owned by or provided by Johnson Controls. That one again hasn't been online, it hasn't been monitored in quite a long time. Apparently somewhere, I don't know So basically, if you just try to sprinkle in some strobes and smokes in a new part of the city hall, you're still not being fire protected because the rest of the building doesn't have up-to-date zones and addressable zones, and this again can be done like the security system. It can be partitioned where I think the fire alarm system can be partitioned up to 8 zones.
I'm sorry to cut you off there. Do you mind if we take a look at this for just a minute and call you back if we have another question?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
By code,
let's talk about this
we
first.
have to try to get it up to code, what state standards are. It doesn't mean it has to, because I know there's some grandfathering clauses in there and some other things, so this is what we have to present to you to make it safe for people and public to be in the building.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, I wish I could, be a little more technical on some of this, but, and it's monitored, this would be a monitored system, and this system would be monitored at $40 a month.
All right, thank you, Howard.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
bye.
All right. I don't know about y'all, but I was just getting a little lost there with the technical details. I apologize. So the quote that we're looking at on here, we have multiple stages of quotes with ACG.
You look at fire, you look at security.
We're looking at everything, right? Like looking at security, looking at fire, looking at cameras is $42,803 for everything that they're proposing to us here today. So going through it stage by stage, is first the security alarm, security cameras. I understand the importance of the security cameras and where they're at. We're gonna have things in this building that we do need to monitor, things we need to zone. So I see the importance of this $6,349,000 security system.
Right, gotta protect the investment.
Right, and it also,
And people.
right, the monitors, for the monitor, who goes
Correct.
that?
That's
So I
right.
always have it.
Along with that, that's right.
Mhm.
Do we see the need to shop this quote to multiple different avenues? I understand that we use this company for a lot of things and it integrates well with what we do use. Donnie, who do y'all use at the high school? Do you know, is this the same kind of system?
Yeah, it's the same kind of system. I don't know exactly who's monitoring
Yeah.
anything like that.
Okay.
But we have panels at several doors, that way if teachers park in the back, they can hit a panel, if they park in front, they can hit a panel, they go into the gym or the fine arts center and hit a panel.
Okay. I see the benefit of that, but if we flip forward to the fire alarm system, I mean, I have a security system at my house, and they have a fire alarm. What's the difference if we just add that instead of paying the $24,000 for the strobe lights?
Is it being a public building?
I think that's what it is.
I mean, is there any coding?
Fire chief?
I'll break down code and ordinances tomorrow.
Okay.
Get back to y'all.
How do y'all feel about this $24,000 quote for the fire alarm?
I think it's very important to have a good fire alarm.
Oh, I agree too. I agree too.
And, I mean, we gotta protect, number one, protect the people in the building. Number two, we gotta protect the building. It's like we were saying earlier, protect the investment. And it's an old building,
Mhm.
and, you know, we don't know what's, 100%. It's like he was saying, as they're hooking those wires up, if there's a wire that's, not working, not
Mhm.
functional, then he would replace that. Well, how do you know that that's not functional?
That's right.
Is
It
there
smells smoke? No.
about an alternative to lease purchase, instead of we just pay all this at one time?
That's a good question.
The equipment?
In other words, instead of just pay it all up
Yeah.
front, if you're leasing at the end of the period, then you're on.
We still still do have some money in the loan that we would use these funds to pay for these items, but we also have a lot of other items that we need to do too, that we're not even talking about tonight, that we'll be talking about upcoming with the building in general.
I mean, there is no moving in until we address safety, which is the security and the fire.
That's right. But is there my question is there an addition that we can add to the $6,000 fire, the $6,000 security system that would add some smoke detectors?
Could explore that.
And we probably need some outdoor signs,
As far as what?
as far as, City Hall, I know it's coming, but exit,
Oh, yeah.
entrance, for safety.
Yeah. And I think the fire department did go through there and check those.
So the question, is there a supplement to this system besides the $24,000? After we find out from the chief about the codes, what we could do and still be within code.
That's right.
Is this the only possibility that we have?
With moving forward, how would y'all like to handle to give the city manager the authority within a range to negotiate something? Would that be reasonable?
As long as we're under code,
Right.
and it doesn't, I mean, I don't wanna see it, be a stumbling block either, and us not be able to move in because we're,
Yeah, neither do I agree with that.
If it becomes a necessity in order to move, we can always do a special call meeting after we get more quotes or bids on things. So we wouldn't have to wait an entire month.
Maybe if I can add to that.
Please.
Howard's, I asked him what was his timeline. He says it's 7 to 10 days for the equipment and a full week worth of labor.
okay.
So that's, if it's 10 days plus 5, there's 3 weeks right there.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it common to just get one quote?
Well, our security integrator right now is the same company, and all of these systems would tie in together.
Okay.
And if we had multiple different ones, it might not work as well for our favor.
Okay.
Because I did meet with another provider, and he was like, I don't think it's gonna be in your best interest to have multiple providers, exactly what the mayor just said. So he declined to give me a bid for that.
And he did come out and walk with you.
We walked the whole property and everything. And he said, you're taking money out of my hand, but this was best for y'all.
Okay.
So we have outdoor signs coming for City Hall.
Yes, sir.
All of that.
Yes, Brian has those ordered.
Or,
Yes.
So again, we don't need to move it, we just people don't know where we are.
We wouldn't put them up till we know we're going.
I mean, I want to get into that building as soon as possible. I was just, I guess, a little shell shocked with the 24,000.
And Howard was,
Costs that we didn't know about,
That's right.
but
and Howard was shocked too with the cost.
I will put all my cards on the table and say, if we're gonna spend money, safety's a good place to do it.
I mean, I'm happy in any way the council decides to move forward. I just wanted to bring it up for a conversation. Would y'all like to let Mark explore a separate option, table it, or vote for the $24,000? That would be the question.
I say we explore, but, let's not.
The lease option, what are different possibilities are.
maybe times of necessity to move in, we're going to have their meetings.
Absolutely.
Just about the timing on this, since we know it's gonna take them, a few weeks for them to do their thing.
But just because we don't go forward with the fire doesn't mean we can't go forward with some of the other proposals for correct?
Correct.
So we could go ahead with the
Security.
and the cameras, and just hold off on one.
Very good. Well, let's jump kind of forward and talk about the cameras. We did talk last time about approving him to put a camera in the gym up to a certain price. What was that price point we approved?
Well, we said one camera,
One camera.
and he's recommending two.
Okay.
And so that's why I brought it back, was because of, he's recommending two to be in there,
One's recommended two.
just for the coverage.
Where would they go?
Both doors.
We need to discuss which exact location they would be at, so we're welcome to call him back.
Sir?
Probably one on each end. It's like,
Side, the front.
Which is $3,462. What's your opinion on this quote for two cameras at the gym?
Well, the one, so, we were all thinking probably just the one camera before, but the second camera is it can also monitor the yard too. I think would be a great benefit, not just, because we would get coverage, anybody doing anything in front in the yard.
I think it's a reasonable cost for us to know what's going on.
Protect your mess.
So this quote, we need to be very, very specific that this one is for a camera inside and one camera outside.
Sounds like it's inside.
It sounds like it's two inside.
Two inside.
Correct.
so we have any outside.
But I believe that there's, in our last quote that we approved, I think there's a camera watching in the outside corner already.
Okay.
Megan and I have seen the existing cameras. There's one, correct me too, that's down there by the entrance by the cafeteria,
Okay.
that comes all the way down that way. And there's another one that comes straight off, looking at the payment box
Okay.
on that front area right
We've
there.
already approved those.
Those are in.
So these are for the inside, two for the inside.
And so there's a total of, was
One,
it 6?
one,
Also,
two,
before I
three,
installed this camera, did you?
four. Yeah,
Oh
something
yeah,
like that.
everything else, the cameras are in.
Everything's
The
ready.
keypad and everything is in,
Gotcha.
all of IT is in,
Okay.
but the keypads have not been turned on.
I see.
So we're still using the key. Because I thought these cameras were going inside with the instructions. We discussed that day.
Are the cameras 360-degree cameras?
I think these are 180.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, that may be one we need too,
Yeah.
360 degrees.
Yeah.
Just need to hold it. So if we don't have what's recommended, I worry that there'll be a dead spot. And naturally, everybody finds.
It don't happen.
and these cameras can be viewed in the new city hall, in the, copier and IT room right there. And then we can upload to your phone, whoever has security clearance.
So the next quote we're staring at is for a quote for cameras for $7,968.61. What is this for?
That is at, hey Brian, that is at Brian's office.
Okay, I think that we all see the need for having cameras around Brian's shop.
He has one,
Yeah.
he has one, tell him you.
Well, I had 4 and they just, when they dying off.
And they basically, these were some Chinese type cameras.
They're probably hacking our orders.
Right? So, because he gets a one view, and guess where it's at? Out the back. None of his equipment, none of his supplies.
Yeah.
It's important to have, let's not put that in the newspaper.
Yeah.
I think we see the importance of that camera. The next one is additional camera along hallway.
That is the hallway, if you come from the city hall and you exit into the school, if you enter into the school from the city hall office, that is that long hallway run that takes you toward the auditorium. And that's one different that came in after these that they put in, just knowing that, again, the restrooms are down the hall.
Right.
Yeah. And that one's for $787.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have multiple tiers here to go through. Other than the fire system, is there any discussion or is it the council's pleasure to do something different?
I like the camera going down the hall, that way if somebody accesses that entrance
Yeah.
there, you'll see them come through. It's just,
So what about that other long hallway?
Well, we don't have one,
toward the gym.
yeah, which is, we can put one, it's just,
Or we can put one later too,
we can put one
Put
later.
one later.
once it's being utilized.
Now, so once we get into using the auditorium, I think you will do some other things, because obviously in that room and places like that with the cameras.
So the cameras that are already installed, they have full coverage, or are they 360
No, they're-
degrees, or they're just
They're 180,
just 180 down the hall?
but you can zero in. He was showing me the one looking out from the cafeteria entrance. He could zero in on a license plate that's at the stop sign,
That's good.
so.
That's good.
That is good. Any other further discussion about ACG?
So we're gonna vote on security and cameras.
Yes, sir. Unless y'all would like to move forward with other, fire alarm system, which security and cameras is still over $20,000. And then that other system is what, 24? 24, yeah. So one's 18,000, that's a total of $42,000, $42,803.
And how much did we,
Yeah, where we at?
No,
that's
this is not
Gotcha.
something that we anticipate,
Right, okay.
but we do have funds in the loan, but, you know, it's a lot of air conditioning units, things of that nature.
Why don't we look into, I'm prepared to vote for the security and the cameras.
Okay,
If we can do some more research on the fire system, and then if we can find, you know, like the lease option, what does that look like, or is there a lease
yeah,
option?
that's right.
Then if we could do that, cause that's the bulk of what we're talking about.
Yes.
Also find out about our ordinances, in other words, what
Right.
is the minimum that we have to have to move in for everyone to be safe?
I mean, $20,000 would buy a lot of smoke detectors. All right. Let's move on to parking lots on tab 3. Mark, you want to talk about these 2 quotes that we have here?
Really, this is, cleaning up the parking lot, it's not seal coating, it's just painting it back black and restriping. So it'll be a clean slate looking when you do come in on that side. You got one price of $4,100 that, Brian was able to get. And then the other one is at $5,400. Brian, you got any comments about either one?
For the same footage?
This all the way around, or is this just on the side?
Flip your
It
page.
goes around.
What'd you say?
It goes around to the cafeteria.
Okay.
He's got on the Garrett, it's got 1,720 square yards, and on the other bid there, it's 1,614 square yards, plus the 409. So he's right at 2,000 square yards at the 4,100. See on the picture, it's got the 2 numbers there.
But the inspector also said we had to have 2 handicap spots, so that'll help. They can restripe it, but those in the front too.
How many handicap?
2.
Two.
So I think that we're familiar with Garrett's work. They did work in front of City Hall now. Brown's Asphalt, I'm familiar with their work. They're the same company that did the seal coat and striping on Level Grove Church in Greenwood. Anybody have an opinion, strong feeling, one way or the other? Brian, do you have a recommendation?
I think they both do, so.
Okay.
Garrett obviously did downtown.
Yeah, that's right.
See the work they did.
It's a $2,000 difference.
Save some money somewhere. Spend it on another camera. Consideration of the aluminum awning.
Basically, Lanier Aluminum is a awning company that did the existing city hall on the back. And you have two choices. One is a cloth. It's just like the one in the black in the back of the city hall. The biggest difference there is you can't control the water. The water is just going to run off onto you. And not much difference in price. That one's $22.50. And the other one is actually an aluminum awning that has a gutter on it. And it will actually, if you go with that route, it's $25.40. If you go with that one, it actually will control the water and have a gutter that will go into the side of the gutter that's existing there now. Lanier Aluminum, I've dealt with them many years, and excellent company. This would be the front door, I'm sorry, the front door going into City Hall. And Brian has poured a 7 foot wide sidewalk there, so it will come out the entire length and come out 4 feet and cover the entire 7 foot sidewalk there.
They also did the awning between the post office and City Hall
So,
that we added a couple years ago. They did it.
Can we do it in a different color?
you got your color choices on there. Black,
Black. Forest green and
ocean blue.
ocean blue.
The other one is bronze, ivory, and white.
Bronze, ivory, white for the metal.
Yes.
I'd rather say white or bronze, not ivory. Yeah. I think a clear choice is aluminum.
I think so. That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Anybody else think the same thing?
And you want to pick a color? Or you want me to get the actual colors?
I've seen I mean, I think we make a decision on the color. I think either bronze or black would be
Okay.
good. Does anybody else have an opinion? I'd probably lean.
Bronze won't show dirt as bad.
Yeah, I'd probably lean towards bronze more.
Yeah.
All right, let's move over to insurance coverage of water towers.
Well, there's our quote, $784 for $500,000 of coverage for each water tank. Now we've got 5 standing water towers, and they will have an estimated value. You see,
I'm here.
okay,
Brian, what's the new water tower cost?
that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, size wise, 1.5.
1.5. What does it cost to paint one? In case a hurricane pops up and blasts the paint off one, what does that cost?
Well, we're under contract, so they keep our tanks painted. That's that 87,000 a year.
That's right.
They sandblast and paint them, so they take care of all the painting and stuff.
And the estimated for the one, we've got 2 tanks that sit on the ground.
Right.
What kind of value or cost would you put on those?
750.
So obviously, just depending on how much coverage you want for each of them, but it's $784 per $500,000.
That's the annual amount for the premium. Correct. 784.
Yeah, it's the annual amount for the premiums.
Per tank.
Yes.
I'll tell you, it was news to me to find out that we didn't have any insurance at all on the towers currently. I mean, it sounds like that tower fell over tomorrow, we'd have to come up with $1.5 million to build a new tower, so.
The annual cost The annual cost of this would round number be $5,500 if you did them all at $500,000.
Be way too much of a loss. And, thank you for finding out that we didn't have this coverage. I'd hate to find out if it was after the fact on this that we didn't.
But when I talked with the guy, he said that the only two times he's known of a tank falling was in a hurricane and the tank was empty. That pushed it over and then an airplane hit one. He said it's very rare for a tank to ever.
To lose an entire thing.
He said half his clients, and he said he did what the whole southeast did.
Yeah.
He said very few insure them, but there are some that do. Just because they're so rare, one collapsing, ours may fall tomorrow. But I'm just saying, earthquake or something like that may, it'd have to be something catastrophic.
Right.
That's the thing, you don't wanna spend the money, but,
Okay.
you know, tomorrow, it could.
How many of those tanks we have?
Standings. Water.
At least 500,000 would lessen the blow a little bit, but that's a lot of money for our premiums per year.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
It'd be bad if they all went down at one time.
That's obvious.
If they all went down, I don't think we'd be here either,
And all I was trying to do with this is just bring it to light.
Right.
I don't think we have much choice.
It's one of those things you probably didn't.
How would the
want to know.
council like to proceed? Would you like to proceed with the 500,000, zero coverage, $1 million, $1.5 million? Where would y'all like to be on the coverage?
That's a lot of money for a premium, for an annual. Like Brian said, it's rare that it would ever happen. But it's better than, something, even $500,000 at this point is better than the no coverage.
So,
Hey.
we just want like an umbrella policy, is that, we have $1.5 million policy. Not each tower's covered, but this $1.5 million umbrella can cover, if one went down, but this one, is that?
It's for each individual
One has to be.
insured,
Which
yes.
is $4,000, essentially $4,000 a year for $500,000 of those 5 towers.
But the other 2 towers too, because something could still happen to them too, unless you didn't want to insure the 2 that are sitting, obviously they're not gonna fall over.
One cement, right? One cement, one's on the ground? Okay, yeah.
It's 5488 for all of it.
Or should we explore other options, like Andrew's option or another option to see, explore another option?
Well, I'm getting insurance companies are starting to call, wanting to bid our insurance, even though we just renewed it on February 1st, back with Travelers. So I've had 2 this week.
Can we see if they can do better than that?
So is it your proposal to table this for a month for further discussion?
Can we get other bids?
If he's getting calls from solicitations for it.
Well, it wouldn't be just this, it would be the whole,
Oh, it would be the whole thing.
the
not
whole
just the
content
bids.
liability, everything.
Isn't Our Lady retiring soon? Didn't she recommend that we start shopping? Right?
She retired at the end of the year,
End of the year.
and she's had our account for 25 years. But we can bid out our quoted anytime we want to, so that's not
So for $10,000, you take care of 2/3 of our liability. Is that basically correct? $10,000 would be $1 million coverage.
Yes, sir.
Each one.
Yes, sir.
Correct. 1.5.
Correct, yes, sir.
So that leaves us exposure of 500,000. Or something like that. So
Next, Mark, is the copiers.
All right, I got Rodney here with Duke Petting Products. I told him he's got 2 minutes to give us his proposal. And my other proposal came from Matt DeLong, and he wasn't able to come. So I've got his info we'll talk about in a second. So Rodney, if you'll stand up and talk about your 2 proposals, 2 options.
I'll talk very fast. We've had the privilege of serving you for the past 4 years. There's a list in there of references. We take care of most every municipality in Wolf-East Georgia and have for the better part of decades. We also do most of the county government, so we have a lot of expertise there. But we were brought in 4 years ago because you had a bad experience. You had a vendor that was charging too much. The billing was a disaster. You got 8-page invoices that nobody could understand. So we were able to clean all that up. We wrote a check and paid off that agreement, which is about $6,300. Since then, according to Mark, according to users, the feedback we've got has just been smooth sailing. So you've had copiers at work, and the copiers are important. They're not a meaningful expense compared to everything else you're talking about, but they are important. They're your scanners, they're your printers, they're your copiers. They can't afford to be down. So the users have been happy, things have been working, billing's been simple. This time around, because we don't have the $6,300 check in there, we're able to save you a lot of money. So even though we've had price increases, which is rampant in every industry, our proposal saves you give or take 30%. And that's upgrading all your equipment to new devices with better scanners, better security, but a simple, easy transition. So all your users, they have the same interface, nothing to learn, it'll be smooth and easy.
I see multiple different pages with multiple different prices. What's the bottom line?
Bottom line is we gave you 2 options. We always recommend the all-inclusive option. That's what almost everybody does. And the advantage is, you know all your costs. Nothing's hidden, there are no surprises. It covers your maintenance, your supplies, everything.
Okay.
The huge advantage in today's environment with that is it's price protection. So no matter whatever happens with us, if our rates go up, or toner prices go up, yours is locked in.
And we just have one.
We have 4 copiers.
Okay.
Police, fire, and Brian
All right, very good.
in City Hall.
So that lease payment on here of $428 per month, that's for all 4.
That's for all 4.
Okay.
And that's for the service, the supplies, everything.
And understand, we're coming down from a price of $637.53 has been our average cost. Because you may not realize this, but there's a charge, so many black and white copies that you get and so many color copies that you get. And that's where the additional charges comes in. Like he was saying, the base rate is $277, but the payment could be $461 because he's estimating using so many pages a month.
Well, the second quote, and that was more or less to compare to our, the other vendor, the $277, that breaks out the hardware and has it a separate price, and then your maintenance is a different price. The reason a lot of people like to quote just the hardware is that's your cheap price, that's what you see, and then the other is hidden and who knows what it costs. And it's also subject to going up every year and escalating depending on whatever window they have.
So on his 277 option, he has an estimated at $435.75 a month, but he's got you locked in option 1 at $428, and it's down again from $637 a month.
So you're buying things at a discount, you're locking it in for 4 years.
Okay.
So it's locked in for 12 months?
48 months. That's
48
it.
months.
So basically, you're leasing the copiers. You know, he's coming back
So if we stay with duplicating products, this new agreement saves us how much money a month?
$200 a month.
$200.
Now, let me tell you the other one. It's 2 Icon Minoltas and 2 Conoco Minoltas, different sizes for the different locations. His 48 months cost of the machine is $223, and his cost of the paper and toner and so forth is a total payment of $341. So you're saving $14,000 from your existing quote with his. So Matt used to work with these guys. They had a falling out. And so y'all know how all that stuff works and people going after accounts and so forth. I'm friends with Rodney. I'm friends with Matt Nix, who owns, and I'm friends with Matt DeLong. So you got a proven product with Rodney. I've known Matt. So y'all have fun figuring that one out. So I don't get a call. So that's your options.
Okay, any questions?
Can I add one quick thing?
Please.
Okay. A couple of things that don't show up on the other quotes, we do all of our own leasing. So we don't charge you for property tax, we don't charge you for insurance, there are no fees at the end of the lease, like shipping back the copiers, all the kind of hidden fees that go with leasing. You don't have that, you will with them. The other huge thing is they're not an authorized dealer, so they're considering themselves a sub-dealer, whatever that means. So from a safety standpoint, a risk standpoint, I'm not sure how that would work. I've been doing this 33 years for the same company, and I've never seen a sub-dealer for anything. So,
Thank you for your input.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Rodney.
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming tonight. All right, let's move on to United Roofing. No, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Move on to proposals and water system assessment.
Is Brian back out there again?
Yes, I'll start with that.
This was
The,
yours? Okay.
Of course, the first meeting with Turnip Seed, I could not make because of the time interval. It was short notice, Greg called me, so I couldn't make that meeting, but our city interim manager made it. And then the other proposal is from EMI in Fletcher. I did meet with EMI in Fletcher. And if you'll notice the dates on them, it goes back to March the 10th, 2022. And the other date is also a long time. Our present water system is operating under a prime copy of the Bible from 2011. So the recommendation from EMI is it's updated every 3 to 5 years. So that's how far we are behind. The current proposal from Greg and Ben Turnipseed was $30,000 as of this date. As stated, I was not privy to the conversation, so I do not know what the new cost is, because Fletcher and EMI stated that this proposal, at their quote of $15,500, will not be increased, even though they have gone up on their prices. So he would maintain the same amount for us. So the question is always, are we dealing with apple and apple? We're dealing with apple and orange, banana and fruit, or what are we getting when we look at this? So after meeting with Fletcher, his assurance is that we get everything that we have from Turnip Seed plus. The plus is we get a flow rate. And that flow rate can be used for our capacity purchase, which we entered into an agreement with. And there's also a time differential. The time for Turnip Seed, I was told, since I wasn't in the meeting, was 8 to 12 months. With the EMI, it's 6 months. We have 1 year in our water agreement to work on our water capacity. With this number, then we'll be able to get a number to discover whether capacity purchase would be a good option, or whether we should seek other options, or how we should pursue. But we need to update our water department's guidelines, and it's already been placed on the agenda, back burners. So time is of the essence during this period of time. So the agenda item tonight will be EMI at $15,500 with everything plus the Turnip Seed offers at 30, whatever the rate is. 30,000. So that's the situation with the water as for that agenda item. And the second agenda item, as we discussed to be put on, was the water distribution. The water distribution is an area where we today are receiving no fee. So, if someone wants us to contract and say, we need water out here, then we bring the line to them, they just pay the material costs. And as the letter dated 12/28/2022 for E&I indicated with their research that it was $12 to $18 is standard and customary. So for that amount of money, as we move, then that is what we pay per line that we install. So if someone's calling now, then we have no ordinance to say, we have no quote to tell them. So we need to be in a position where we can equally tell every person who seeks that the same amount. So the purpose of this is to decide what we want to do. Brian's impression is that this quote doesn't cover for grassing over him, but he feels that the cost that we have here is enough that we don't have to worry about putting grass on. So if we do $12 and we do $18 and then we do the $25 if we run into rock, I think that's a 3-inch and a 6-inch pipe. And then if it's a bigger pipe, then we could always put to be determined, or please call for a quote, but we need something in our ordinance so we can tell everybody the same thing. So that's the second thing. So tonight will be 2 agenda items, one for a vote for the water and one for a vote.
Common sense, this is a modification, we need to do anything different to adopt a policy like this.
I'll take a look. I think you could probably do this administratively.
Okay.
I don't know that you have to know that to do this.
Okay.
All your other fees are set by resolution. I think if you all just vote to impose this fee, I think that's.
With this fee, I see 3 numbers here, 12, 18, and 25 plus.
It's the 25 to the rock and gravel. Sometimes they run into granite
Sure.
and stoneback.
Yeah, the 20 to 18, that's the range he's using subject to the pipe size.
So the 12 would be for the small pipe.
And we can specify that, it's 12 to 18.
Right, so if anybody calls us, they're all paying the same amount. So there's
I like it.
no question about who gets this or who gets that.
That's right. As far as jumping back, John, Turnip Seed and EMI, both have 2 numbers. Brian, you got these 2 quotes, one from Turnip Seed, one from EMI. Which is your preference?
Well, I think they both do a good job.
Yes, sir. You think they're apples to apples?
I think so, yes.
Very good. All right.
What's the difference in cost between the two?
$14,500.
$14,500 is the difference.
We're almost there to the new fire alarm. Roof warranty.
Brian and I met with Jeremy Perry to walk the roof the other day. Sean came by. And Brian, you want to give your assessment?
Yeah, all the items that was listed on the warranty, I felt like they had done 100% of what they said they would do. And everything looked good to me.
So are we voting to accept the warranty or what, why is?
I think you're voting, I think you're authorizing payment is what you're.
That's
correct.
The warranty, it's not a warranty agreement. He's granted, he's giving you.
Because what y'all originally had approved was the initial bid of like 132 and some change, and we had those 2
That we voted on.
changes, and then this is just confirming the
Confirming that
final.
the work has been done to our satisfaction, go ahead and pay. That's
Correct.
Okay.
And the lender has sent out their inspector, and so the bank is all happy and content.
That they've already, the bank's inspector's already been out there.
Yes.
So they've already given their okay.
Yes.
Next is the engagement letter for the audit. This is the same auditor that's been here for the past 3 years or 2 years?
I think it's 2, you have a 3-year contract.
Okay.
Well, they're just gonna come in, if you turn to page 8, I think that's always the money page there. And I had looked, Megan, we had looked at what we had charged them, what they had charged us last year, and it was 23,000 and some change. And their base fees, if we look on page 8 there, the 15,650, there's a 2,500, another 2,500, we've got 3,500 that are range. That's gonna put us about $28,000 because of that range right there. Like I said, we paid roughly $23,000 this past year. They're looking to come in on March 14th, and by law, they have to be finished with this by June 30th. And so Megan has been going through a long laundry list through our CPAs, getting items, and it's a very daunting list. Anything you want to add?
No, I don't. Thank you, though.
Has everyone been happy with Bates Carter up to this point?
Alan and them are happy with them.
Okay.
And remember, she was most helpful. Amanda was most helpful with us with a question from Moody's the other day in confirming some things we'll talk about. So she jumped right on the request from the analyst.
Any conversations about Bates Carter? Anybody have anything you'd like to talk about them?
So we're in our final year of the contract with them.
I believe so,
Yes.
but we'll confirm that.
All right, let's move on to Earth Care proposal.
We're actually going to delete that one. We have decided after talking with Brian that his crews can handle that care. I just really wanted to get a bid so we would know what it was.
Which is $560 to cut the grass in front of the new city hall.
Which is a lot.
And that's a yearly contract, it's not one rest or.
Consider what we pay them already for all of it.
Correct, yes, sir.
So we'll be deleting that one.
Next is, I think I'm out of order.
Lucas.
Lucas.
Yeah.
Lucas. Chief's going to talk about it.
This is an agreement with Habersham County. It's puts a Lucas device, which is a mechanical CPR machine, on our truck. There's absolutely no cost to us. They take care of maintenance. They will retrieve it from Northeast Georgia Hospital and return it to us. This will put a Lucas device on every engine in the county, so it guarantees immediate closest response with a mechanical CPR device.
That was fantastic.
That's awesome.
I love it. So what do you need from us? Just a vote
Just,
to accept it?
Yes, sir.
Thomas, you had time to look over this?
And all the other departments are going with it?
Sir.
All the other departments are going with it?
Yes, sir.
It's a pretty short agreement, so, it's good. They will provide the training and education at their expense?
Yes, sir. We went through that December.
Oh, wow, all right, that sounds like a win-win to me. Chief, stay where you're at. Fire truck, old fire truck?
Yes, sir. So, we were reserved on selling the truck until we got our ISO rating back, which we have. And keeping the truck did not help us noticeably. And currently we have nowhere to securely store the truck. With build time on new trucks being 2 to 4 years out right now, looking through gov deals, trucks like that sitting out there is going for good money. I recommend that we do sell it through gov deals. They do have a program now that we can essentially set a reserve price on that truck, so they offer us $35,000 for it. We don't want it, we don't have to take it.
And what are you seeing that range at, so we can vote on it
So
tonight?
there was one just a year older than ours that Chief Palmer found from up north that sold for $65,000. And with monies from the sale of that truck, I'm asking that we update some of our out-of-date freight.
Keeping that money in-house as far as any reference.
Yes.
Okay, great.
That's what I suggested he do. If we're gonna get rid of one of his assets, he should better maintain some other asset upgrades.
Takes it off future costs for us.
Thank you, Chief.
I stopped up there, I'm sorry, I can't.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
We're currently at 7 o'clock, which is now time for our regular meeting. We can continue on and work through these items. Do you have a problem with that, Thomas?
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, if you're asking me personally, if you're asking legally.
I would prefer that we continue on the conversations and then move in there. Does anybody else have strong feelings otherwise? Okay. All right, consideration of invoices, Mark.
Yes, sir. This is the invoice from Habersham County for 2023 animal control and fees. And we attached a copy of the agreement that goes back to 2018.
We need it, none of us want to be dog catchers.
Franklin County Design.
This is
Franklin Design.
right. We pay her one fee of $2,500, and this is just a second invoice she just sent off of her fixed cost.
Yeah, I think we've already approved this.
I believe that we have approved that. Yes, so there's no reason to vote on that one since we already approved that. All right.
I'll report it. That's correct.
All right. Special election.
This is for the November 8th, 2022 special election for city council. This is an invoice from the Office of Elections and Registration for $8,476.38. They've got completely broken out from the ads, cost by city, and percentages.
Gotta do it. Can't just three of us handle it after 12:31.
Why do you call it a special election rather than a municipal election?
That's what it said. That's what,
This was for 2022, so this was for Donnie's seat, and
This is gonna be the general election.
This is the
This is
general
the
election.
invoice. This is our.
this is the
Invoice
invoice
for last year.
for last year.
Well,
Yeah.
we've already done it, so we gotta pay it. Listen, tell us what about it.
No. We just got it for last year, yes.
That's the cost to quit, guys, right there.
that's right.
That is a good way of putting it. I mean, there's been a lot of turnover
Yeah.
within the county, so anybody that puts their name into consideration to do this job should have, that figure in mind when they make that decision to run. What was the decision for?
And then as we look through these other invoices. What is the $93,000 invoice in there? What is that?
The fire
Fire
truck.
truck, annual payment.
Oh,
Northeast Georgia, did you have to pay that one?
we don't need to vote on any of these, correct?
I was putting them in there so that y'all were aware of the payments.
Okay.
Okay.
Because where else would I, unless you picked it out of the financials, where else would I show it to you?
Yes, sir, I understand.
So we can skip all these.
All right. Consideration of AED grant. Is there matching funds to this grant? No, no matching funds. So it looks like Chief Crocker's writing a grant for $12,761, free money.
Actually, he's already got approved for the grant.
I like it even.
What he needs y'all to do is approve that tonight, that it gets reimbursed. It's 100% funded, just a reimbursement fee.
Can't beat it.
What it's going to is, he's worked with Chief Knight, and they're gonna get 6 of them. 2 of them is gonna replace 2 of the fire departments that's obsolete. 1 of them's going to the city hall, and then the other one's gonna be putting some police cars.
Love it.
But the grant, like I said, it's already been approved, we just need you to approve.
You know, the chief is at a training seminar the next couple of days, be back on Thursday.
Consideration of body cam.
Well, the body cams, he got a grant for those, $13,500. We've got all those in, we got the grant, late last year. All of them been put in, all of them was, operational, ready to go. Very good tool. I had a video of it, but maybe I don't have nothing to play. But,
Blame it on me.
basically, this is the body cam. It doesn't need, it's got its own hard drive. The camera in the car's got its own hard drive. So you don't need one or the other. So if I'm in here and something's going on, I can turn this on, don't need the hard drive. If I'm on a traffic stop, it sees everything. It sees everything the car sees and everything the officer sees. When we pull it up to review it, we can actually sync them together and watch them simultaneously together.
Very good.
And I urge any of y'all want to come out there and see that. It's cool the way it goes together. You can see the officer walk up from inside the car, and you can see what he sees.
And the SOP is that it's constantly in use all
Yeah,
the
we
time.
use it on every call we go. Before, we had just the in-car, and we had a mic, so if I'm in here, we can hear what's going on. But all you're gonna see is what you see from the windshield of the car. But now, we can do it either way.
If someone who represents police officers in these cases, they're both invaluable. They protect both the citizens and the police officers.
Yeah, it's a good tool.
All right. I like it.
And the other thing he wanted me to mention is, y'all know the hospital's going through some transition.
Yes, sir.
We've been unofficially told that they may be going with their own security, so they stopped the security part, which we have a full-time officer up there, he would come back to us. We've already been budgeted for. We have a spare car, one of our old Dodges. The Dodges, I don't want to say anything bad about Dodges, but we just ain't, this particular car, we've had to put 3 radiators in. And all the rest of them, we had to put 2 or 3 in. We kept this one because it was the best one. Of course, we had an incident where somebody rammed us a couple times, we had to have that fixed.
Couple times.
Yeah, so we took the car to have it fixed, and when we went to crank it up, the radiator went again. So he would like to replace it, not with a newer car, but one newer to us, maybe with less miles on it, more,
Not a Dodge.
right.
So y'all are asking tonight to dispose of the car.
Well, the trading value on it's about $12,000 roughly.
Okay.
We got $13,250 in drug seizure funds, and also another $8,200. It's in the process of drug seizure funds. So that's what you'd like to use to purchase it. Less
Can we do
used
that?
vehicle.
Can we do that?
You do what?
Use drug funds and seize funds to purchase a
I
car.
believe that's what their purpose is.
Okay. Do you have a purchase amount for a car that you would like? to
What,
purchase?
he hasn't got that on yet.
Okay.
So we would.
But he's just,
To use that.
he's just wanting to be able to use that money to trade-in value
I
money.
mean, I think that we need to put like a cap on it as far as.
Well, it also depends on what kind of car you can find.
Yeah. So what was that total right now? You got $12,000.
$12,000 would be the trade-in, 13,250 would be the seeds money we have now, we got another $8,200.
40 plus.
No.
33.
Oh,
Yeah. So we can approve you up to purchase a new car for $33,000? Okay.
Get those numbers right.
Anything else in that, Casey?
Well, I would like to say something about that.
Shoot, what you got?
He didn't put this on here, but before Chief Cropham got here, we never got any grants. Before Chief Cropham got here, we never had any awards. Since he's been here, we've won an award every year. And we've gotten several pieces of equipment with these grants. Body cameras, vests, makes our job more efficient, safer, effective.
he's been a very prolific grant writer.
We got a whole group of good guys that work here, but it all starts from the top. And he's probably gonna get on to me for saying this. I think it ought to be noted that these things never happen with the city. I don't know what the fire department, but the police department, these things never happen until they got here. So, I just think this is.
I appreciate you saying those words. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Casey.
4th of July entertainment. All right. Who's dancing and singing?
Jerry, it's got your name by it.
That means I get to appoint somebody. So, as years in the past, our budget is slim on this topic. Megan, how much money did we spend on entertainment last year?
Oh, wow. Less than 10.
Okay.
I don't know the exact number. I'd have to double check, but
You know, John King did reach out. He did. I spoke to him yesterday about entertainment. He said he would love this one. Said that they could discount it some, but it'd probably still be in that $10,000 range to get him back in his band. So that's something for discussion. But I would like to challenge everybody that we actively talk about this, whether it's sending emails back and forth to City Hall. We need to get this entertainment moving along and get those things booked.
One of the things we need to work on this year is getting more sponsors to pay
Yes.
for that. I mean, so that we get to this point, we don't have to worry about talking about costs.
Correct.
You know.
Correct.
Are they gonna have the bathrooms finished up with the job?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I was gonna say, you don't need to have somebody parking down the bathrooms.
We're working on it.
All right.
Fair question.
Consideration for A1 gutters on the proposal for the PD repair. Right, this is on the backside of the police department where Brian had torn off and removed the awning back shed part off that. And so Brian got that for us for $3,500.
It looks great. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Sean, this is GMA incentive. I think we all saw this incentive come out.
This is from GMA, one of their new proposals that they have. You know, a famous wise person once said recently, "We must hang together. Other leaders need to pull the rope together instead of engaging in tug of war."
Something like that.
Something like that. So, what is civility? Civility is more than just politeness. It's about disagreeing without disrespect, seeing common ground as a starting point for dialogue about differences, listening past one's perceptions, and teaching others to do the same. Civility is the hard work of staying present, even with those whom we have deep-rooted and fierce disagreement. So I know that I read the all the material that GMA is sent to us, and they do have a civility pledge. And you can read, I can read that in the meeting.
Would you mind reading that in the meeting?
Yeah, I'll read that in the meeting. But
And what's the cost of us to register as this designation?
I didn't see a cost.
I always told you there's a cost.
It's gonna cost you another camera.
It's gonna cost you the price of being nice.
Making sure it was $9.99 a meeting. All right, I appreciate you reading that for us. Let's move on to the VHB proposal.
This is dealing with our water quality, monitoring and so forth. So Brian, come on in here, tell us about it.
The reason it's so high this year, we have to do it twice every 5 years when we come through, shop the fish, and do all the microbiology tests from the wastewater plant. It's
And
just
they do that upstream and then below stream, correct? Okay.
You remember 2 years ago, we looked at doing it ourselves, and it's so much involved and so much equipment, it's just cheaper to pay.
Brian, can I ask you, our water has started tasting horrible. I don't know what it is, and it has a smell to it. Is there something in the water department that they can check a home and see if something's leaking? Or we've got walls still in the way that it is, and that's where our water line runs. I don't know if there's a fracture. I can't drink our water. So if you could get with me, I would really appreciate that. And I don't know, is anybody else having a smell in the water?
Chlorine taste.
This is like a bitter taste. It's real weird. Because our water used to be just like crystal clear, wonderful. And it's really got a taste. And I'm just concerned that it's maybe where the wall is breached, that maybe our water pipes are breached.
Ryan, will you check on that for us? Thank you, sir. All right, I see no way around the $16,000 bill other than to move on with it. Okay.
It is a requirement.
You're just kind of stuck with that one.
There's two issues with the agreement. I don't know if there's anything we can do about it. It's got an indemnity provision in it that you all know, the city attorney take the position that that's gratuity and it can't be done. The other thing is it's governed by Massachusetts law rather than Georgia law. So again, I'm not sure that that's something we'll necessarily negotiate, but I think we need to ask.
Can we approve this with your modifications?
Yeah.
And you can reach out to them and see if you can get it modified. I appreciate your counsel on that. We love seeing things move along in the city and things move along for the better. And the park bathrooms is one of those things that I'm very excited about. And I appreciate everybody's hard work that's worked on this for the past, 2 years? Have I been working on it 2 years? I really appreciate it. With this, the park committee has approved and set forth the park renovation budget. This budget, a lot of these line items are done in-house and saving money along the board all the way through. These items add up to a total bill of $207,000, a little over. And we do need the city council's approval for that. We do have in the budget, what's our budget on that, John?
Well, we have some left over from, there was a sheet handout what we spent, plus we have the $90,000 in Splash, plus we did the $175 for this. And also just to inject, the park committee met, and the initial rendering back from the engineers was that if we bid this out, it would be $750,000 to bid. At such time, Brian was gracious enough to take this complex undertaking upon himself, just like he did with Georgia Street to be the contractor as the city. So with that, he's already saved $70,000 in grading. That was the cost of the grading, $67,000. So he started. And it's been mentioned, some people are asking, why did he stop? You know, when can we go to the bathroom? Are we gonna have it by the 4th of July? So the purpose of this meeting is to try and dot all the i's and cross all the t's, just as Thomas helped us so much with our city of ethics. So when we went through the executive board at GMA, it was not a problem. So on this, there's some items, such as you noticed the last one, the $40,000, that's for the metal roof. So Brian and the group can do the trusses and can put the plywood up, but the metal that goes on top will be continuous. It won't have a seam on it, and the guarantee should be decades.
And every item
decades.
of this building is something that'll last for
Maybe a century.
That's right.
So,
Roof,
right.
solid cement, like this building will last.
So we
If a
need.
water tower falls, it goes back.
They're gonna be there. They're gonna be there. But to accomplish this, at first the park committee met, and it was a hardy board due to the expense, but everyone met again and wanted to do the brick. So then Brian went out and found a mason that can be a temporary exclusive to the city, is my understanding. So we need to approve, if we can, whatever we need to approve tonight, so Brian can schedule everything so it can flow, and we can get it done by the 4th of July, as we talked about. So whether it's to have, can we exclusively do it in one, or do we have to do each one individually, like the 44?
You can vote on it as a group.
As a group?
Yeah.
So we just authorize Brian as a subcontractor?
Authorize Brian and the city manager to extend what's been shown in the budget.
Very good. Next is opioid settlement documents.
These are similar to the ones that you all approved last fall. This is just another one of those lawsuits, but we got to approve these, I think, by the first part of April. So rather than wait another month, I thought I would just put them before you all after you authorize the mayor to execute them.
And we've already started to receive some money off these.
How much will we receive?
Oh, nobody knows the answer to that.
How much have we got so far?
We get one
I don't
payment back
remember
on
it. I
January
sent out an
1st or
email. I
something.
need to double check if I can find it.
It was maybe $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we got two.
We gotta figure out what we're gonna do with this money, so I guess Robin needs to help come up with an idea of what he needs to spend his money on.
Well, I think it has to be expended for activities related to drugs. So like
So the camera.
buy what's that, Narcan or whatever those kind of things. There's categories of stuff you have to do.
All right.
We will update y'all tomorrow to confirm that exact number though.
Next topic is relocation of Lansing Creek.
Yeah, this is a no-cost letter that, we were going to pay to relocate our utilities. And again, I just wanted y'all to know this. Brian, you got anything to add?
Probably need to get a easement from Lycos to relocate the water line. We need to get that started.
You talked to her about that?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
Is it gonna be on her property, or do we just need to get on her property to move it?
It'll be on her property.
Okay.
She said there wouldn't be any problem now. I think there may be a problem, so.
Is the existing on our property?
Yes,
So
sewer and water. His cross is all over it.
Thomas, while we're still here, can we revisit talk about it in the meeting.
Doesn't matter to me, whatever you play.
We can start with that meeting.
They was waiting on you.
Okay, very good.
Picture of like.
With that, work session closed. Mayor?
Yes, sir.